يقول راجي عفو رب سامعي محمد بن الجزري الشافعي: الحمد لله وصلى الله على نبيه ومصطفاه محمد وآله وصحبه ومقرئ القرآن مع محبه. وبعد إن هذه مقدمة فيما على قارئه أن يعلمه، إذ واجب عليهم محتم قبل الشروع أولا أن يعلموا مخارج الحروف والصفات ليلفظوا بأفصاح اللغات، محرر التجويد والمواقف وما الذي رسم في المصاحف.
صلاة وتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وعملا متقبلا يا أرحم الراحمين. Oh Allah, teach us what benefit us, increase us in knowledge, in good morals, and in good deeds, Ya Arham Ar-Rahimin. So we continue by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help, seeking His help and seeking His tawfiq on this series of explaining Aljazariyya or Manzumat al-Muqaddimah by Imam Muhammad Ibn Aljazari rahimahullah ta'ala wa nafa'ana bihi. May Allah shower him with His mercy and benefit us from his blessings and his works. So he, as we mentioned, said in the beginning, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alhamdulillah yaqulu raji afwi rabbin sami'i Muhammad ibn al-Jazariyyi al-Shafi'i. Right? That's the part we covered. But still, of course, we did not finish that part or that line, which is the first line, because we did not talk about his life yet. So last time we talked about al-Shafi'i. What does al-Shafi'i mean, right? What does al-Shafi'i mean? Al-Shafi'i means what? Sister. Shafi'i means what? Nabil. Yes, say. That's his madhab. In what? What does madhab mean? Madhab means the school of thought, right? So that's his school of thought, the school of thought that he follows in what? In fiqh, right? And we mentioned that we have schools in aqidah and schools in tasawwuf or tazkiyah or the purification of the soul. We also have schools in every field of those fields of knowledge in Islam. So he said he's Muhammad Ibn Aljazari. Muhammad Ibn Aljazari. He said يقول راجي عفو رب سامعي محمد ابن الجزري الشافعي. The one who is hopeful of the forgiveness of forgiving Lord, of a responding Lord, Muhammad, the son of Al-Jazari, the one who's Shafi'i in his fiqh, says what? Alhamdulillahi wa sallallahu ala nabiyyihi wa mustafahu. That's what he says, right? And he says the rest of the poem, right? So Muhammad, as we mentioned, what does the word Muhammad mean? What does the word Muhammad mean? Huh?
The praised one.
The praised one. Listen, if I say kataba. Kataba means what? Kataba means what? He wrote. If I want to get the subject from this 3-letter verb, what's the subject? What's the subject? The doer. Katib. Katib, right? Now, what's the object? Kitab is one of the objects, but there's a general form which is maktub. What is it? Maktub. Okay? Maktub. Is that clear? Kataba, that's verb. Katib is the subject or the doer. Then the object is what? The object is what? Ahmad, you can sit here. You can sit on the front. Whatever you're comfortable with. So maktub is what? Is the object, right? Maktub is the object. Now, focus with me. I say hamida. Hamida. Hamida means he praised someone. Hamida means he praised someone. What's the fa'il? Hamid. Hamid. What's the maf'ul? Mahmoud. Clear? You know what this science what is this science called in Arabic? This is called sarf. What is it called?
Surf.
Sarf. Etymology or morphology. Morphology, I think. Okay? So, because there are forms for the doer, forms for the object, forms for everything, so you know how to get the forms, right? How to get the forms of every one of those. So morphology, in morphology you learn the meanings of words and you can derive other words from the main words. Now, Hamida, Hamid, Muhammad. Okay. Now if I have Mahmoud, right? So Hamida, Hamid, Mahmoud. And Mahmoud, by the way, is one of the names of the Prophet ﷺ also. Now if I say, as you see here, three letters. So when it is three letters, it will be this way. فعل, فاعل, مفعول. كتب, كاتب, مكتوب. قرأ, قارئ, مقروء. سمع, سامع, مسموع. شرب, شارب, مشروب. أكل, آكل, مأكول. Easy, right? Okay. Now, if it is more than three letters, for example, وظف. For example, وظف. وظف means he employed. He employed someone. Now here, it differs. Here, this is the verb فعل. Then it becomes in the subject or the doer موظف. What does it become? موظف, employer. Now, anyone has an idea how the object will look like? Anyone? Say it if you know. موظف, which means employee. Got it? وظف, he employed. موظف, employer. موظف, employee or employed, right? Employee and employed, same thing, right? Similar. Now, so the employee is employed, right? Now, where does the word Muhammad come from? Anyone can guess? The word Muhammad. Hamada. Hamada. Not only Hamada, this is exaggeration, not exaggeration. Intensive form of
Hamada.
Hamida. Right? Hamida. Hamidahu ala fi'li. Right? Hamida. So Hamada is an intensive form of Hamida. Yalla, what's the doer or the fa'il?
Muhammad.
Huh?
Muhammad.
Huh?
Muhammada.
Muhammad. حمد محمد. وظف موظف. شغل مشغل. سرب مسرب. Now, what is the objective or the object? Sorry, the object.
Muhammad.
Muhammad. Sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad. That's where the word Muhammad comes from. So, what does Muhammad mean? Hamada means he praised intensively. Muhammad is what? That's the doer. What does it mean?
Is the one who praises continuously.
The one who praises someone else intensively or a lot. So Muhammad is what?
Is the praise he do.
The one who's praised a lot. Got it? Clear? So that is where the word Muhammad comes from. So means he's the one who's praised a lot. What does that mean? What does that mean? If he's praised a lot, why would he be praised a lot? Huh? Why? This means he has a lot of good traits. Got it? Why he's praised a lot? Because he has a lot of good traits, right? He has great character. This is why he's praised a lot by people. So even the name of our beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam shows you that he has great morals and great character sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay. So Muhammad from Hammada, right? Okay. So whoever is doing the slides, you have to mention these things. Now, Muhammad ibn Aljazari. Muhammad, son of Aljazari. Who? Muhammad is the son of Aljazari. Who's Aljazari? Who's Aljazari?
Father.
His father. Right? His father. What does Jazari mean? This is in relation to what?
Jazriya.
Jazira. I am Suri. For example, I am Abdullah, son of As-Suri. Let's say. Suppose I'm not from Syria, I'm from somewhere else, but my father is from Syria. Right? Then I say I am son of As-Suri. This means my father is from where?
Syria.
Syria. Al-Afghani. He's son of Al-Afghani. This means his father is where from? Afghanistan, right? Don't be afraid. Afghanistan, right? If he's Pakistani, he's son of Pakistani. This means his father is from Pakistan, right? Okay. So, Ibn al-Jazari means his father and his forefathers are from Jazira. Which Jazira? Which Jazira? We said it's named the Jazira of Ibn Umar. In Turkey, until now they call it Jazir. This is how they write it. Can you see on the board? This is how they write it, Jazir. They pronounce it Jazir, I think. Okay? But this is how they write it. It's called Jazira Ibn Umar. And Jazira means what we said? Peninsula or island. But here, this Jazira Ibn Umar, or called Jazirat Bhutan, it is what? It is surrounded by water from how many sides? From 3 sides. That's called literally in Arabic Shibh Jazira. Semi-island, if you like. Or peninsula, right? Peninsula means semi-island, right? Not semi like, it's surrounded by 3 directions with water, right? Okay. Where is this Jazira today? It is here. Can you see it?
Yes.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Jazir. Jazirat Ibn Umar. Can you see it? This is here. This is Syria here. This is Syria. And here above, this is Turkey. And here, anyone knows what this is?
Jordan.
This is Iraq. Jordan is in the bottom. So this is Iraq. So Jazir, or this small island or peninsula, it is on the borders of Syria and Turkey and Iraq here. Can you see?
Yeah.
Now, it is on a river. It has to be on a river, right? Since there's water around. So this river here is Tigris or Dijla in Arabic. Tigris. And Euphrates is here also. Euphrates, Al-Furat, very famous, and is mentioned in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. It is here. Tigris and Euphrates, they're close. They're close. They're in the same area. So that is Jazirat bin Umar. Now, where was then Imam Ibn Aljazari himself born? Where was he born? Where was he born? He's at Dimashqi. So he was born where? In Dimashq. Same place where I was born. So I have the honor, right? So here is Dimashq. You can see Dimashq? This is where I came from, guys. I came from all the way from here, all the way through the Mediterranean, here, there, somewhere. So this is Damascus or Dimashq. Can you see? And this is where his fathers and forefathers came from the farthest northeast part of Syria. Today it's Turkey. Okay? Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now, just to give you just some geography Anyone knows where Palestine is? Where Palestine is? This is Palestine here. Can you see? Here. Can you see it? This is Palestine. And this is Lebanon. Jordan is here under. Tabariyya, did you hear of Tabariyya Lake?
Yeah.
Tabariyya Lake is the lake that will be that Ya'juj and Ma'juj, Gog and Magog, they will drink all of it. This is it. Look at it. Or this is Al-Bahr al-Mayt, this is the Dead Sea. But it is here, somewhere here. That lake that is mentioned in the hadith also. Anyway, so Al-Jazari, as you mentioned, is where is the attribution of his forefathers. He is Damascene, if we can say, or from Damascus. Now, very quick idea about his life, radiallahu anhu. And why do we need to know about his life? Because in all of the explanations of Aljazariyya or any book, when you want to learn the book, you have to know an idea, to get an idea about the author, right? You have to know who the author is. And especially for us, we need to know the lives of those great people. We do need to know, so that they will inspire us. They will inspire us by their piety, by their strong resolve, by their action, by their himmah, by their work, by their traveling everywhere to learn knowledge and to spread knowledge. It's when you read a book about piety or about patience or about courage, it will not influence you like when you read about the life of someone who was patient, and the life of someone who was courageous, and the life of someone who was of piety and taqwa and sincerity, right? But what is even greater is, anyone has an idea? Anyone has an idea what is even greater than learning about the lives of those people? Is to accompany such people. Right? Is to accompany such people. One more time. If you want a change in your life, if you truly want a change, the best way is to accompany people who will change your life, who are good people, and they will change your life into good life. And this is why we have Sahaba. Look at their title. What is their title? Sahaba, companions. Why? Because they accompanied the best of creatures. So they became the best of people and the best of companions of all prophets. Alayhim salatu wassalam. Right? So when you accompany those righteous people, you will see, not you will read about their lives. He did this and he was righteous and he was honest and he was sincere and he used to pray up at night and wake up, etc., etc. You're reading. But when you see him, that's completely different. That will have much more effect and influence on you. Right? And this is why our beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam urged us in so many hadith to accompany the righteous ones. Right? To accompany the righteous ones, and to accompany the righteous ones, and also to accompany the righteous ones. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ittaqullaha wa kunu ma'a as-sadiqin. O you who believe, have taqwa of Allah and be with the truthful ones, so that you will be truthful like them. You will learn truthfulness from their actions. So this is why it's very important, at least to read about the lives of those great people, so that they will inspire you. And if you find similar people, even if you find any person who's like better than you in those aspects, try to accompany them. And the more you accompany them, the more you will learn from them. And this is why, subhanAllah, you see, like in Syria, there are many people, they learn from the sheikhs in a general lecture or general dars. They learn from the sheikhs. And many of them, they become like sheikhs. But you find some people, they serve the sheikhs or they accompany the sheikhs closely. And they visit him regularly or more often, and they do some services. So they are close to the sheikh. Then you find them, they're best than all students. Why? Because they lived with the sheikhs. They accompanied the sheikhs. And this is why I see the Sahaba who were close to the Prophet ﷺ, they are better than the others, right? Those who were close to him, they learn adab, they learn akhlaq, they learn. But those who were far from him, they maybe hardly to visit him. They come and they don't know how to behave even with him. One of them, he comes and says, "Oh Muhammad, tell me this." Then Allah reveals the surah to teach them. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu la tarfa'u aswatakum fawqa sawti an-nabi. Right? Oh, you believe, don't raise your voices before the Prophet. Right? Then innal ladhina yunadunaka min wara'i al-hujurati aktharuhum la ya'qilun. Those who are calling you from behind the chambers, most of them don't understand. And if they if they showed some patience until you come out to them, it would have been better for them. So teaching them akhlaq, because they were far, they're Bedouins, right? So this is why we need to learn about Imam Ibn Aljazari, radiyallahu anhu, since he's the absolutely number one sheikh of the reciters of the Quran over throughout the Islamic history, excluding the Sahaba. Okay? So it says his father was barren. He did not have children for 40 years. Then he went on Hajj, year 750. And he drank Zamzam. And we know the ahadith that tells us about Zamzam. Zamzam lima shuriba lahu. That when you drink the water of Zamzam with the intention of something, Allah inshallah will give it to you. If you drink and you make a specific dua, inshallah, Allah will give it to you. Right? So he prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant him a son, right? Grant him a child. And he came back, and it appeared that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered his dua right away. So he went on Hajj 750, and his son was born 751. Right away, just 9 months of pregnancy of his wife, he had Sayyiduna Muhammad Ibn Aljazari radiyallahu anhu wa rahimahullah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered his dua right away. And this is not something strange. We have our sheikh, the sheikh of our sheikh, called Sheikh Amin Kaftaro. He's the father of our sheikh, the late Grand Mufti of Syria. May Allah shower both of them with his mercy and raise their levels. He was on Hajj and he also made dua. He prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that his Khalifa, means his successor, will be from his children and will be his own son. And that the Abu Nur Mosque, that was a very small mosque in Damascus, he prayed that it exceeds or it reaches the river. There was a river next to the mosque, so he prayed that the mosque expanded until it reaches the river. And the third dua, he said, he made that, may Allah that forgive all those who love him and learn from him. So Allah, and he said he felt that Allah answered his dua right away. This is what he felt, that khalas, dua will. His successor became his son, the late Grand Mufti of Syria. And Abu Nur Mosque expanded until the river became under. The river became under the mosque. And it turned from like a small room like this into one of the biggest Islamic foundations in the Middle East and maybe in the world. It's 9 floors that has more than 5,000 students from about 50 countries. That is the sincerity and the dua of those who are righteous. And we pray to Allah to answer his third dua. So that is not an exception that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers your dua right away. It is very possible. So he was born in Damascus, as we mentioned, where I was born, alhamdulillah, 25th night of Ramadan, in the year 751 of the Hijrah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He completed memorizing the Quran because, of course, he was from a righteous family. His parents and his father, also he was a learned person, and he took him to the scholars from an early age, right? So he completed hifz when he was 14 years of age. 14 years. When did you finish hifz?
Before that?
13? 12?
Yeah.
12. New?
13.
New?
14.
14. So it's Allah's blessings upon you that you have been able also to complete hifz. So this shows you that what those people did is not something that is beyond reach. Well, honestly, some of what they did, yes, for us is beyond reach, absolutely. To go walking to seek knowledge into another country and to spend your life seeking knowledge from country to country. You don't worry about life, about anything else. Of course, there are things that really, from what we see, you cannot reach. But there are things you can, like this example, memorizing the Quran. So he was 765, in the year 765 he completed. Then he started he started seeking an ijazah. So he got ijazah in the qira'at separately. Every qira'ah separate. He got ijazah from Sheikh Abdullah Ibn Sallar, rahimahullah, 767 and 777 of the Hijrah. And he started leading people in prayer when he was 15 years. 15 years old, started leading people in prayer. After he finished the qira'at, he got ijazah in the qira'at separately. So he would read the whole Quran like in Hafs, the whole Quran in Warsh, the whole Quran in Hisham, the whole Quran in Ibn Dhakwan, etc. Then after that, he read all of the qira'at together to one Sheikh, Sheikh Ibn Al-Labban, Al-Dimashqi from Damascus. And you see this Sheikh Ibn Al-Labban, as you will see now, he's from his prominent sheikhs, and you see his name in the ijazat and the asanid of the Quran. So 778 he got ijazah in the he combined the qira'at all in an ijazah from Sheikh Ibn Al-Labban. So how old was he? 778. How old was he?
728.
Can you say it again?
61.
30.
7,
So 778 he combined the whole qira'at to Sheikh Ibn Al-Labban. 778.
37.
So how? 37, right? 37 years. 37 years. So I still have some time to follow him, inshallah. So he traveled to Al-Madinah, Al-Munawwara, and he recited to the sheikhs there. Then he traveled to Cairo, Al-Qahira, to Egypt, and he combined the qira'at to Sheikh Abi Abdullah, Muhammad son of As-Sa'ir, and others. Then he came back to Damascus. So
27.
Huh?
27.
27. So I lost. 27. Mash. 27 years he was when he combined the qira'at, right? Because 751, 61, 71, yes, you're right. So he was 27 years when he combined the 10 qira'at, all of them together. He traveled to Cairo 3 times, to Egypt. From Damascus to Egypt is not easy. Now by plane I think it takes more than 2 hours, I think, approximately. Of course they had no planes, so it's not easy that he traveled to Egypt. It's not easy at all, right? It's not easy at all. So this is where Syria is. This is where Syria is, here. This is Syria, so Egypt will be like here, somewhere here. See? Egypt will be here, somewhere here, on this closet. Okay? It's not easy. It's a very long distance. And how many times he went to Egypt? 3 times. Then he went to Al-Madinah Al-Munawwara. Where is Al-Madinah? Where's Al-Madinah Al-Munawwara here? I'm going to show it to you in another picture. Al-Madinah Al-Munawwara almost here. Al-Madinah Al-Munawwara almost here. So he came from Damascus all the way to Al-Madinah, of course, then to Hajj. 3 times to Cairo, then to Al-Madinah, to Iraq, and then we will see also many other places. All that, of course, to get more qira'at. This is why he's the absolute sheikh of qira'at. He's number 1 sheikh of the qira'at, the different readings of the Quran in the whole Muslim world. He's number 1, like Bukhari in Hadith and Quran, Ibn Aljazari radiyallahu anhuma. So, and one time the robbers, they attacked him and they took all of what he has. All what he had, they attacked him and they took his belongings in the Arabian Peninsula. In another incident, as we will see now, he lost one of his sons and they were separated for 20 years. 20 years he did not see his son. He also combined the qira'at through some Egyptian sheikhs and some sheikhs in Al-Madinah Al-Munawwara. And of course when he goes, he doesn't just go to read the Quran. Absolutely not. He will go and he will read the books of qira'at to the sheikhs, and then they recite the Quran. And this was their way. They will not just go to read the Quran. No. They first read the books of qira'at. For example, I want to read the 7 qira'at. If you want to learn the 7 qira'at, well, first you have to memorize what? Shatibiyya. 1173 verses. You have to learn it. Then the sheikh, you take a lesson with the sheikh in the traditional way. You learn each and every single word in that poem. After you're done, then you recite and you apply that poem in your recitation. That's how they used to get ijazah. Not like now over Skype. We can use Skype just for like an assistance tool. If you don't find a sheikh in your area to teach you and help you, if you don't find, then you can seek help over Skype, but I will never ever give ijazah over Skype. And if, like the scholars who permitted it, the reliable scholars, of course, there are scholars who permit everything. If you want alcohol, there are some scholars who can permit it for you. Shaking hands with women without any limitation. Hijab. If some sisters they're like annoyed with hijab, there are some sheikhs who tell you don't have to. There are sheikhs who permit everything. But I'm talking about the reliable scholars. They say if there is a need for ijazah over Skype, then that is permissible in one case. If the sheikh is quite sure that the student is qualified, and yet there must be at least a meeting, physical live meeting between them, and this person will read at least 1 juz' to the sheikh to make sure. And from experience we found that Skype is, and all those media tools are not efficient and not sufficient. So if he met him and read 1 juz', okay, and the sheikh made sure he got all the rulings and he's good, then he read the rest of the Quran. If there was necessity, then we say okay. Other than this, that's an untrustworthy ijazah. Okay. So they will travel not only to read the Quran, but to learn the books of qira'at. This is why he became like the muhaqqiq. He's the main scholar in this field. And the poems, and of course teaching the Quran and giving ijazahs to others. This is why you find among his students in so many countries. And his sheikhs in so many countries, as we will see. His sheikhs are from so many countries, and his students are from so many countries. This is point 1. Another point is that he did not only learn Quran, and this is very important. He did not only learn Quran, he also learned Hadith. He also learned fiqh. He also learned aqidah. He also learned the sciences of the Arabic language. And this is extremely important. You should not limit yourself just to the Quran, even though the Quran is the greatest thing, but you need to understand the Quran and learn the hadith, because the hadith explains the Quran. Then you need to learn fiqh, because fiqh is the rulings that the qualified people took from the Quran and the hadith. Then you have to understand aqidah and Arabic sciences, etc., so that you become of those who teach the Quran, not only the words and the letters of the Quran, but also the meanings and the understanding of the Quran. This is why we have Imam Ibn Aljazari, and we have most, if not all of our Imams. They learn the Quran and they get ijazah in the Quran, then they learn other sciences. Shaykh al-Islam Zakariya al-Ansari, that's his title. When we say in the Shafi'i school, or generally in the Islamic tradition, when they say Shaykh al-Islam, they mean Zakariya al-Ansari radiyallahu anhu. And the oil money does not change this fact, okay? So he's almost the Shaykh, almost all of the qira'at also go through him. Zakariya al-Ansari radiyallahu anhu. And he has one of the shuruh, one of the explanations of al-Muqaddimah. And his books in Shafi'i fiqh are one of the main books, one of the main references in Shafi'i fiqh. And he has books on aqidah and Arabic, etc. So these are the giants of Islam. Those are great scholars of Islam. Not like some of us, we just learn just a small bit of knowledge, then we think, Allahu Akbar, we acquired everything. No, we know nothing, wallahi. Wallahi, the more you learn and search in this ocean of knowledge, the more, or the smaller you see yourself. So Imam Ibn Aljazari studied hadith and studied fiqh and usul. Usul means foundations of fiqh, means the rules through which you can conclude fiqh, and also learned usul al-din, which is the foundations of iman, which is aqidah, and other shari'i sciences. And he got certified. He got an ijazah. So ijazah not only in Quran, there's ijazah in hadith, there is ijazah in Arabic, there's ijazah in aqidah, there's ijazah, etc. Who certified him? Imam Ibn Kathir. Who's Imam Ibn Kathir?
Writer of Tafsir.
The Mufassir, the famous Mufassir, the famous commentator on the Quran. Imam Ibn Kathir he's Dimashqi also, he's from Damascus. So he certified him and licensed him to give fatwa. Fatwa is not like as today, Google can give you fatwa, and Yahoo can give you fatwa, and YouTube can give you fatwa, right? And anyone just who learned just maybe 2 words, then he issues fatwa. You had to have a license, a permit to give fatwa. If they would see someone giving fatwas and he's not qualified, they will put him in jail. They will put him in jail until he learns and he stops spreading misinformation and corruption among the Muslims. 774 he was given the ijazah to give fatwa by Imam Ibn Kathir. How old was he? 23 years. 23 years. 23 years he got ijazah to give fatwa. 23 years. Also by Shaykh al-Islam al-Bulqini. Also this Imam al-Bulqini, that's his title, Shaykh al-Islam al-Bulqini. But it is much more famous for Shaykh al-Islam Zakariya al-Ansari. Not like today, they just made it to one person who did not have this title before. Okay. And he sat to teach people. After you learn, you have to sit and teach. Not you spend like 5 years, 6 years, and your parents spend thousands of dollars to teach you the Quran. Then you just go to school or college and you forget about it. Not reviewing anymore, not teaching anymore. No, I did not learn so that I teach. MashaAllah. Why did you learn? If you learn and you don't teach, Allah will ask you. If you don't want to teach, prepare an answer to Allah. Prepare an answer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you spent all these years and your parents spent all that money, if you did not learn so that you teach, why did you learn? So that they say you're a hafiz, well, you will be among the first three categories of people with which the hellfire will be lit. Right? We mentioned them. Those who learn the Quran just so that people say, he's a hafiz, he's a qari, he's a alim. May Allah not make us among them. He sat to teach under the Eagle Dome. The Eagle Dome is the big dome of the Umayyad Mosque in Damascus, which is until now in Damascus, that was built by the Umayyad. That dome, in that Umayyad Mosque, a big dome, under that dome, only the master of the science will teach. Means the master of a certain science, he's the only one who's allowed to teach there. For example, in Quran, who's the master of Quran in this town? Ibn Aljazari. He's the only one who can teach under this dome. If you want to teach, someone else wants to teach, you can teach somewhere else. Under this dome, only the master of this science. Who's the master of tafsir? For example, Ibn Kathir. He's the only one who can teach under this dome. So Imam Ibn Aljazari, he taught for years under that dome in the Umayyad Mosque, and he built a Quran house in Damascus, a house for teaching the Quran, an institute for teaching the Holy Quran in Damascus. So he's a person of Quran. He dedicated all of his life to the Quran, and he got or assumed the position of the justice of Sham. The justice of Sham, justice of all Syria, Jordan, Lebanon, Palestine, all those four countries, they were called Sham. In the year 793, he became the justice, the main judge of Sham. Now, in one of his times in Hajj, he went on Hajj. Is it still acceptable, guys, or became hot there? Is this working? Is it fine? Okay. In one of the times in Hajj, he heard that some students in Turkey, in the lands of the Romans in their time, current day Turkey, he heard that there were some students who are yearning to read to him. So he heard that those students have no wish in this life, they have no objective in this life except that they read and get certified from Imam Ibn Aljazari radiallahu anhu. So what did he do? He radiallahu anhu, after he heard about them and they told him, these students, that's their only wish in their life, their only dream is to go and get certified from you. But they're very poor. They cannot come to Mecca. They cannot come to you to learn. Imam Ibn Aljazari radiallahu anhu, he said, well, I go to them. If they cannot come, and that is really their only wish in life, I will travel to them. Where were they? They were in Bursa or Bursa today in Turkey. So he traveled to them. From where?
Damascus.
From Mecca. He's from Damascus, but he was in Hajj, right? So he went from Mecca all the way to where?
Bursa.
Mecca today in Saudi Arabia, right? To where?
Turkey.
Bursa. Where Bursa?
Turkey.
In Turkey. This is Bursa. So he as you can see here, this is Istanbul, which is known as what before in the past. The city that the Prophet told us it will be open. Constantinople, right? Constantinople. Constantiniya. This city which was conquered by Sultan Muhammad al-Fatih, the conqueror, Muhammad the conqueror. There's a movie about him. Watch it. I did not watch it, but I urge you to watch it because it's a good movie. Muhammad al-Fatih, because they praised the movie and it's about a great personality. Muhammad al-Fatih was praised by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam because the Prophet said sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Constantinople will be conquered. And what a great Amir, the one who will conquer it. Muhammad al-Fatih. And he was a Sufi, by the way, deviant. He was a deviant person according to some Muslims. But you know the Prophet, I don't know, maybe he changed, but the Prophet praised him. So how can we put these two things together? It's a fact that he was Sufi and he learned from the Sufi sheikhs and the Prophet praised him in an authentic hadith. How can we put these two together? Let me think. That's not. There's another conquest for Constantinople. There are two conquests. So that's not the conquest that is meant by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is how some people do. Exactly. This is how some people behave. No, he is the one. And the scholars mentioned he's the one who conquered it, and he's the one who was praised by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And any ignorant person who generalizes over a certain group of Muslims, then he is absolutely an ignorant person. He might be like accusing the Prophet ﷺ of praising someone who is deviant. So they have to learn, they have to be careful. Of course, there are some people who belong to the Sufi orders or Sufi schools who are deviant and do wrong stuff. Of course, just like we have some Salafis and Wahhabis there making these suicide bombings among Muslims and non-Muslims. Where do these people come from? Which school? Anyone who doesn't know, then he doesn't know. But they themselves know, their sheikhs know, everyone knows where those suicide bombers come from, which school they belong to. But we don't generalize over them. I have some Wahhabi, Salafi brothers that I love and I respect. But the majority of their sheikhs, if not all, because anyone who does not have those ideas, then he is not of them. The vast majority of their sheikhs, this is their ideas, this is their beliefs and opinions, unfortunately. May Allah guide them. So, this is Istanbul, the one that we're talking about. Under Istanbul, what do you see? That's Bursa. So those students were here in Bursa. Now, this is Turkey, right? What's the capital? This is Ankara. That's the capital of Turkey. And here we have Antakya or Antioch. Antakya or Antioch. Why we need Antakya? I'm going to tell you now. So Imam Ibn Aljazari radiallahu anhu came from where? See Syria? See Damascus? So he came from where?
Mecca.
See where Egypt is? See Al-Madinah Al-Munawwara? See Mecca? That's Mecca. So he came from where? From Mecca all the way through Syria, through Sham, up to Turkey. This is Cyprus. You can see Cyprus on the Mediterranean. Then Bursa is here, right? So he had some rest and stopped for a while in Antioch, Antakya, in Turkey today. Can you see it?
Yes.
So he has left from where? From Antakya until Bursa here. He has this distance. So he stayed here for some time to take rest. Then he will continue to Bursa. See this? This is from a huge. This is a huge distance, right? So those students in Bursa, their patience was over. So they said, we want to meet Imam Ibn Aljazari and read to him. We're not gonna wait. They did not know, of course, he's coming to them, right? So they decided to go. one of them, he decided to go, one of the students decided to go, and he traveled from where? Bursa. Where does he want to go to? To Mecca. So he stopped like in Antioch, Antakya. It seems like it is a middle place, right? Layover. So he stopped where? In Antakya or Antioch. He entered one of the masajid and he was praying. One of the people of the city, he saw him and he told him, it seems you're a stranger. He told him, it seems you're a stranger here. He said, yes. He said, come, let me host you this night. Of course, no hotels, right? Maybe there were some places, they call them Khan, right? Like inn or hotel. So he took him to his house. These were the characteristics or the morals of the Muslims. They see someone who's a stranger, they get him, they host him, they feed him, they let him sleep. 3 nights, that's the right of the guests, right? So he received them, and this person, he was trying to entertain him and started telling him some stories. Then he told him, do you know that who came to us, to Antioch? He said, who? He said, one of the greatest teachers of Quran in the Muslim world. He's now staying in Antioch. He came to us just a few days ago. He said, who do you mean? He said, Imam Ibn Aljazari. He said, are you serious? He said, yes. This student, he could not believe. He was planning to travel from Bursa all the way to Mecca. So he found him just in the same country. He stood up, he left his food, he left his dinner, and he got up. He said, by Allah, I'm not gonna sleep until I meet him. He said, by Allah, I'm not gonna sleep until I meet him. He said to him, Ya akhi, wait, just let's finish our food. Tomorrow, let's now sleep. You're tired, you're a traveler, let's sleep. Tomorrow you go and see him. He said, by Allah, I'm not gonna sleep until I see him. He said, okay, let's go see. I don't know where he is, let's go and ask. So they went and they searched and they found him. And once he saw him, he hugged him and he kissed his hands and he said, please, I want to read to you. And Imam Ibn Aljazari, he told him, well, I came from Mecca to you guys, to Bursa. I was coming to Bursa to teach you and serve you. That is the humbleness of the people of the Quran. May Allah make us among them. That's their sincerity. That's their humbleness. He taught him the whole Quran and he recited to him the whole Quran and he got certified in the whole Quran in Antioch, in Antakya. And he certified him, then he continued his way to where?
Bursa.
To Bursa. There are other students, right? He did not say, no, Allah, those students are not sincere. You are the only sincere one. I'm going to just teach you, then let me go back to Damascus, to my home. No, he continued to Bursa to teach those students. And Bursa was under the rule or the reign of Sultan Bayezid Khan, one of the Ottoman sultans. So he received him, and when he knew his story, and he knew that he came all the way just to serve those students, he honored him. When you work for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will send people to serve you and to honor you and to gift you. If you want, as Imam Shafi'i radiallahu anhu said, if you want money and you want these worldly gains, seek knowledge. And if you want the akhirah, seek knowledge. And if you want both of them, seek knowledge. When you seek to teach others and to serve others for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you're not concerned about any recompense or reward, Allah will not make you get lost, right? Allah will not let you down, right? So he received him and honored him, and he told him, please, first of all, I want you to teach my kids. I want you to be the tutor of my kids. Then you can teach others. But I want you to be also a tutor to my kids. And he commanded that he has a horse or some horses and what do they call it? Barn, right?
Different word.
Barn, what is it? For the horses, barn, right? B or P? B, right? So a barn and someone called Sa'is, someone who's in charge of taking care of his horse. So like a car and a driver and a garage, right? Exclusively for him, and a salary. A regular salary. What does he need more? He did not come for this. He came for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but Allah gave him everything. Wallahi, I'll tell you. I cannot be compared to Imam Ibn Aljazari, not even compared to any one of you. I'm the worst human being if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not forgive me. I was teaching in Sham for 4 years. Voluntarily, I had a halqa, and I would go to and get some students. Their parents will not send them because they don't have enough money, and some of them they don't have time. So I would go from Damascus to another town in the suburbs of Damascus to get them and take them with me to the masjid, to Abu Nur Mosque in Damascus, in the center of Damascus, almost. Someone called me, and I used to translate in the masjid also voluntarily, and I was learning and having halqa, serving, alhamdulillah, teaching Quran, teaching whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed us with. Someone called me and he said, I want you. I want to meet you. Are you so and so? I said yes. I came. He told me, I want to hire you here in the foundation and to be the translator and to do some stuff. So he told me certain things, and he put a salary that I did not dream of. And he told me, I'm gonna get you a car, and he started, gave me the number of someone. He told me, you go to him, let him train you. And once you're ready, I'm gonna get you a car. Honestly, I did not dream to get a car. I did not. And this person, one of the students of our Shaykh, the Grand Mufti, may Allah shower him with his mercy. So this is how, and when I was there as a translator in Abu Nur Mosque, which is now the Shaykh Ahmed Kaftaro Foundation, is our Shaykh. Our Shaykh, in one of his lectures, he came to the States in the 1960s. 1960s, and gave lectures in many American universities, almost 14 universities. When he came back, he said in one of his lectures, he said, if I knew English, I would not have come back to Sham. I would have remained in the States. Because people there, that's in 1960s, and until now his words are right. He said, because people there are thirsty for Islam, thirsty for spirituality, thirsty for Iman. And my production there will be double the production in Sham. When I heard that word, that inspired me to learn English. So I started learning English. I also studied, I was learning from our sheikhs, may Allah reward them, which is more important than any, not bachelor, more important than any PhD in the world, is to learn from those sheikhs who are connected with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam through a chain of great scholars. That's the greatest qualification a person might have or could have. So I studied some English literature, 3 years. I studied Da'wah college, I got bachelor, etc. I got the ijazah from Sheikh Bakri, may Allah reward him and shower him with his mercy. While I was still working there in the Sheikh Ahmad Kaftaru Foundation, we got a message from an Islamic center in Texas. So my dream was to come, not to the States, my dream was to come to any English speaking country. I did not like have particularly America. I was planning either Britain or Australia, any country that speaks English since I learned English. tricky. ماشي tricky. تعال ماشي هيك أنا بجيبه سكروا الباب منيح. تعال خوف. So I came, they sent a message to the foundation, and I used to be the translator, and they said they wanted someone to serve them to serve them in the month of Ramadan. That was 2011. 2011 I applied just like other people, and they saw my resume, and I came 2011. Then the school here, they saw my resume, they called me anyway. And alhamdulillah, Allah blessed me now. You know, not one car. Now car here is something like trivial, right? Everyone has a car. So 2 cars, 3 cars, that's something trivial. Now inshallah we did not expect, right, what we got. But we were sure that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will honor us, because this is the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that if you work for Allah, Allah will give you. But you need to work. You don't sit. And during that I had difficult times. I spent 1.5 years in Jordan waiting for the worker visa. 1.5 years I waited in Jordan, working from 8 to 8 in shopping malls. In shopping malls. So it's not like all flowery, dreamy life. No. And I tell you, I lived in one room without a kitchen for 6 months with my wife and my daughter, my one daughter, right? 6 months or more, one room without a kitchen. It was difficult. First time in my life I go out of Syria. It was 6 months in Jordan, then in America, then 1.5 years in Jordan. Then when the visa came, I came back with Sana and Muna, 2013. The point is, you have to work. So I taught some, but the main thing was just work, because life there was difficult, and no time for anything. You had to work and work. So alhamdulillah, during that, of course, I came to Dallas and I led Taraweeh, and then I went back. So when you work for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will provide for you. Okay? But you have to work, and you have to have sincerity. So he got all those services from Sultan Bayezid, and he started teaching those poor students in Bursa, started spreading Quran and Hadith, and there he wrote his book Al-Nashr في القراءات العشر. Al-Nashr في القراءات العشر is #1 reference in the qira'at of the Quran in all of the Islamic tradition. What is it? Al-Nashr في القراءات العشر. Nashr means spreading. So because he spread like he collected almost 1,000 chains for the qira'at. How many? 1,000 chains for the qira'at.
There's already guys like Imam Ibn Aljazari.
Of course, طيبة, of course. Are you not thirsty, Nabi? You're not thirsty?
Refugee for now.
There is cold water there, guys. Get water. Okay, so النشر في القراءة العشر is by Imam Ibn Aljazari rahimahullah. Just like in Hadith, what's the #1 book of Hadith? Bukhari. In qira'at, nashr. No doubt. No comparison or no competitive book. He wrote al-nashr, and then al-nashr في قراءة العشر, it is prose, right? Then he made it into a poem, which is called what?
Aljazariyya.
منظومة المقدمة.
The nashr is in 10 qira'at. He made it in a poem. What is it? طيبة النشر. طيبة. طيبة النشر في القراءات العشر, a poem of 1013 verses. And this is what now people say, he has ijaza in Shatibiyya and طيبة. That's طيبة. طيبة النشر means the 10 qira'at that Imam Ibn Aljazari collected and explained and got and recorded the chains for. Then he was taken by force from Bursa to Samarkand. Samarkand in Central Asia, close to Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, those countries. Afghanistan, close to those countries, Samarkand. He was taken by force by Taimurlan, or Tamerlane they call him, Tamerlane. Tamerlane or Taimurlan, he was a Tartar or Mongol conqueror in southern and western Asia, and he was the ruler of Samarkand in the year 1369 to 1405. In those countries, so he took him in the year 805, and there he was separated from his son. For 20 years, he was separated from one of his sons. He had many children. He was separated from his son, one of his sons, for 20 years. Then, by the qadr of Allah, he met him in Hajj after 20 years. So there was a lot of challenge, right? There were many challenges, many difficulties. This is how life is. So, yet in Samarkand he taught the Quran for many years, and he settled in Shiraz. Shiraz nowadays in Iran. Iran, of course, it was not controlled by the people who control it today. And he passed away there. He had Hajj again 823 of the Hijrah, and on his way to Hajj he wrote one of his famous poems, الدرة المضية في القراءات الثلاث المرضية. الدرة, which means the beryl, the pleasing beryl, or the accepted or the nice beryl in the three accepted qira'at. Because Imam Shatibi collected how many qira'at? 7. And Imam Al-Jazari came and wrote this poem to tell people it's not only 7, there are 3. So we have Shatibi has 7 qira'at by Imam Shatibi. Imam Shatibi just collected. It's not his. Just like Imam Bukhari, what did he do? Collected hadith. Collected the chains of hadith, right? He met this person told him, my sheikh told me, his sheikh told him, the Rasulullah said this, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So he collected, Imam Bukhari collected those chains of hadith and put the hadith. Imam Shatibi collected the qira'at, 7 qira'at of the Quran, put them in Shatibiyya, 1173 verses. Imam Ibn Aljazari came and he collected 3 more qira'at. So now how many qira'at do we have? 10. 7 of them collected by who? Shatibi. And 3 collected by who? Ibn Aljazari. These are 10. They are called the صغرى 10 قراءات. القراءات العشر الصغرى. The minor, not, I don't like the word minor here. Let's say just temporarily the minor 10 qira'at. Then so this is why when you hear someone, they say he has ijaza in Shatibiyya. Means what? Means what, ya brother? Ijaza in Shatibiyya means what?
In 7 qira'at.
7 qira'at. Through which poem? Particularly through the poem of Imam Shatibi. If someone is certified in Durra, what does that mean? 3 qira'at. Now, Imam Ibn Aljazari in his Nashr and later in his Tayyiba, what did he do? Collected 10 qira'at for the same 10 qurra, for the same 10 reciters of the minor 10 qira'at, but he was able to get more narrations for those reciters. Got it? And those 10 qira'at were called what? Al-Ashr, Al-Kubra, the major 10 qira'at. Clear? The major 10 qira'at. Why? Because he had many narrations and chains, 1,000 chains he had. Of course, those are the chains that he read and he learned and he collected. Besides his chains, there are thousands of chains. So when someone is certified in Tayyiba means what?
Sughra.
Ashr,
Asur.
Kubra. Someone certified in Shatibiyya and Durra, that's Ashr, Sughra. Clear? Clear? Okay, I'm gonna show you the cover of a book by someone, and I want you to read to me to make sure you understood. You understood what I was mentioning. Can you see the cover? Shall I make it bigger?
Yeah.
Okay, this Quran, it has the who can read here? Ta'leef. This was composed by or prepared by Muhammad Fahd Kharoof, one of the qira'at teachers in Damascus, in my neighborhood, particularly in my neighborhood, this sheikh. Unfortunately, I did not have the honor to meet him. Anyway, who can read? Al-Jami' means the one who compiled. So when someone compiles the qira'at, they call him Jami'. Jami' means what?
Collective.
Compiler. So who can read? Al-Jami', can you read?
Al-Qira'at al-Ashr.
للقراءات العشر, the one who compiled the 10 qira'at from
من الشاطبية.
Shatibiyya.
والدرة والطيب.
والدرة والطيبة. Is that clear? So this means he has the 10 Sughra and the 10
Kubra.
Kubra, right? Of course, these people are very few in the Muslim world. They're not a lot. There are few ones in the Muslim world. They're not a lot. Okay. So, Ad-Durra was 240 verses of poetry. Not simple. But this shows you also an amazing characteristic of Imam Ibn Aljazari and many of our sheikhs, or all of our sheikhs, which is making use of the time. Making use of the time. He's traveling, he wrote this poem. Until now, people learn it. Right? Right? More than 600 years, people are learning that poem. Now, this is just a picture of some of the main sheikhs of Imam Ibn Aljazari. We have here, for example, Imam Ibn Al-Labban. You can see him. Imam Ibn Al-Labban. We have here Abu Ja'far al-Ru'ayni al-Andalusi. This is from Spain. From Spain. This Abu Ali al-Daqqaq, Abu al-Abbas al-Mazrafi, Shamsuddin ibn al-Sa'ib, Abu Abdullah Muhammad ibn Abdurrahman. This is from his sheikh from Egypt. Abu Muhammad ibn al-Baghdadi. This is from Iraq. As you see, every person from different country. Those are some of his sheikhs. Abu Muhammad al-Qarawi al-Iskandari. Anyone has an idea where he's from? Alexandria.
Greece.
Alexandria. Or in our day, they say Al-Iskandariya in Egypt. He went to Egypt many times, right? As you see, these are just some of his sheikhs. I took them from the ijazas of different sheikhs. So these are his sheikhs in the ijaza. You see him in many qira'at. These are just some. Now his students, same thing, we have many students. These are just some of them also from the ijaza. You can see their names. Like Imam Zainuddin Rudwan ibn Muhammad ibn Yusuf al-Uqbi. This is in Hafs narration. There are many other ijazat. Shihabuddin al-Umyuti al-Shafi'i al-Misri from Misr, from Egypt. This Sheikh Shihabuddin al-Iskandari from Alexandria. This one al-Nuwairi al-Maliki al-Azhari. Nuruddin Ali ibn Muhammad al-Bilbisi. So as you can see, students, these are just examples of his students from so many countries. Now his writings. Of course, the one that we are explaining, what is it called? Al-Muqaddimah فيما على قارئ القرآن أن يعلم. فيما على قارئ القرآن أن يعلم. This poem was explained by more than 30 scholars. 30 scholars. Also, he has Tahbir al-Taysir. Tahbir al-Taysir. This is a book in the 7 qira'at. The 7 qira'at originally were collected by Imam al-Dani, Abu Amr al-Dani, one of the great Quran and Aqidah scholars of the early centuries. Imam Abu Amr al-Dani. After Imam Abu Amr al-Dani, Imam al-Shatibi came and used his book Taysir and he made Shatibiyya. So Imam Ibn Aljazari, he came to At-Taysir by Imam al-Dani and he added by the red color the 3 qira'at that are more than the 7. Then he called this book Tahbir al-Taysir, means the adding to At-Taysir by the red color. Also he has a Nashr, as you mentioned, and Tayyibatul Nashr. What's the difference? Nashr and Tayyibatul Nashr. Nashr prose, Tayyibatul Nashr is the poem. Durra al-Mudiyya, Tahbir al-Taysir, we mentioned Tahbir al-Taysir. غاية النهاية في طبقات القراء. This book, غاية النهاية, is he collected the biographies of 4,000 qurra from the time of the Prophet ﷺ until his time. Biographies of those great people is extremely important. It's not like for entertainment. He collected the biographies of 4,000 qurra in غاية النهاية في طبقات القراء, the biggest book about the lives of the qurra. He had Tamheed fi Tajweed. He wrote it when he was 17 years old. This is why he changed some of the opinions later on of that book. Munjid al-Muqri'in, also to prove the 3 qira'at. Al-Ihtida ila ma'rifati al-waqf wal-ibtida, the guidance in knowing waqf and ibtida, which is a whole science, as we mentioned before. If you remember, at the end of Aljazariyya, right, we had a section on waqf and ibtida. غاية المهرة في الزيادة على العشرة. This book on the qira'at that are above the 10 qira'at, but they were not mutawatir, they are not considered Quran, but the scholars learned them because they learned some benefits from them. Now these are all in Quran. He had books in other fields, like in dhikr. His book in Al-Adhkar is very famous, it's called Al-Hisn Al-Hasin, the fortified fortitude. The fortified fortitude, or the strong fortitude from the words of the master of Al-Mursaleen sallallahu alayhi wasallam. That's a book in dhikr, in the different adhkar, like Imam Nawawi's book. He has a book on the Mawlid of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. You know, Imam Al-Jazari, he used to make these bid'ahs, but he did not know, you know, he did not get the honor of getting to know these new brothers who consider Mawlid bid'ah, so, you know. So he had a book on Mawlid, عرف التعريف بالمولد الشريف, a book on Mawlid of the Prophet ﷺ and celebrating the birth of the Prophet ﷺ and celebrating and seeking blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the place in which he was born, etc. and mentioning a lot about about the merits of Rasulullah ﷺ and celebrating and rejoicing his blessed birth sallallahu alayhi wasallam. That's عرف التعريف بالمولد الشريف. So these are our imams. So the one who come in this century and he thinks, yani, we brought these things. These are the scholars of the Quran. If you're accusing them or those who do these things to be deviant, then you're accusing those who taught you the Quran and taught your sheikhs the Quran. And this is just an example Suyuti, Nawawi, Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, those are the Quran teachers and the Hadith teachers of the Ummah. If you accuse them that they're deviant, then you are the absolute deviant one. Right? These are the scholars of the Ummah by consensus. And we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who made us learn from them, and we pray to Him to make us follow their footsteps. Another book, he has a book about Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu. A book about Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu and the merits of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu. As you mentioned, he passed away in Shiraz. He was 82 years when he passed away, so he passed away 833, and he was buried in the House of Quran, or the Institute of Quran that he established there in Shiraz. Where else did he establish an Institute of Quran?
Damascus.
In Damascus. He's a man of work. He's a man of knowledge. He's a man of those who inherited the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's one of the Wurrath and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the heirs and the inheritors of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as he told us. So he was, of course, a very pious, very righteous person. He used to maintain Qiyamul Layl and Tahajjud prayer. And absolutely, how not? And this is what the Quran urges us to. So may Allah forgive us, we read the Quran and read about those important traits of the believers, and we don't act upon them. So he used to maintain Tahajjud prayer and Qiyamul Layl and fasting the white days, and fasting Mondays and Thursdays, and he was a person of very strong resolve and himmah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shower him with His mercy and help us to follow his footsteps and the footsteps of our righteous predecessors. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله وأصحابه أجمعين الحمد لله رب العالمين. Inshallah, next time we'll go to the second line. And now we will be going fast since we are done with the introductions. So please make sure you're memorizing line by line. Make sure you're working on the slides and taking your notes, inshallah. May Allah benefit us. Who's gonna make this class? Inshallah, you can stop it. Okay, sister.